Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Challenge here from beautiful Mount Panorama Circuit in Bathurst, Australia. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by everybody, Donald, and we got Marco Barbadera here in the booth, and you're here watching Apex Racing TV. Avery, it's Bathurst time. How you feeling about this crazy race?
It is a very crazy track. It's got a couple of very easy sections. Those are the straightaways. But then you head up the mountain, it gets very difficult, and going back down the mountain is even tougher.
Oh no!
I'm excited.
Difficult it is, as just got a shot of a Buster car mating with a wall, and next thing you know, he's bouncing up all down. And Alessandro Dalladone not having a good first shot, but somebody who did get around the track to start his qualifying lap is Paul Ilbrich.
Yeah, you know, this track is very long, so like you have to go around the track, and it's just a long wait, and then you get on to your first lap, and if you make a mistake, it's like, oh, I just wasted all that time.
Yeah, it is such a difficult track to be consistently safe on and consistently fast, which makes me just have all the respect for everyone who can do this, because this track and I have so many negative emotions towards this track, especially around the skyline.
Yeah, I can be consistently safe on this track, just the problem is the lap times do not agree with that. So you need to really be on the edge of the car and trying to work up to as much space as you can, Austin. So you see Paul Ilbrich, which is kind of weird. Take a look at that number. Number one, missing some heavy hitters today, but Paul's going to try to get a good start to this race. So hopefully going to put down a pretty good quick time.
Yeah, a lot of people are staying away from this track. Either they just don't want to drive it, they have some mysterious side pod damages showing up on this track, or they just want to avoid it for the meme. And Tim Delisle, local in Australia, local track country-wise, he's staying away, but everyone else looks to be staying in here, and Tim is just kind of making it already know that he didn't want to race here. But as we see James J. Peace here, he's coming across the line right now.
Yeah, DeCarmo putting down the quickest time, followed by Samborski. Ilbrich very, pretty close, half second between, look at that Honan, putting on a good time. Yeah, it's a tough track, really kind of an odd choice for the F3.5. It's more of a, GT3, a V8 supercar kind of track, but nevertheless, we're here.
I think we have another off track in the incident column. What has Alessandro done?
Yeah, I know if you go straight, you're gonna head into an upward motion and fly the car. Maybe what happened to him.
Well, oh no.
Nope.
He's going for the jump and nope. Denied. Well, Alessandro Dalladone taking I know he likes to usually stream stuff on Twitch, and he's taking a break from sucking at FIFA to well, go on iRacing and fail at taking a high jump.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing to do if you don't carry enough speed. But to talk about the guy carrying enough speed, that's Sean Malloy gonna try to put down a really good lap. See, he's gonna avoid the jump like a man trying to put down a good time on qualifying. Getting through these corners really nice and smooth, carrying a lot of speed, and then you really gotta get on the binders here because it's a real tight left-hand corner. Onto the throttle at the start-finish line, which is just a beautiful spot. Must have had an incident there. Look at Pinkster's time. Good time for him.
Oh, we got another spin coming out of the chase. I am Keyman having a little bit of trouble. And Fabio DiCarmo putting in the fastest time, the 1:47.56.
Tarleton's time very close. Tarleton's really been known for putting down some really good qualifying laps. He's been running really super strong the last couple of weeks. We'll see if he's going to carry that momentum into Bathurst. One of the more difficult tracks on the service, definitely with the F3.5.
Yeah, it's an odd choice for the Formula 3.5. car. It's a very fast track. You don't really see a lot of it, and it's just kind of it's kind of an odd one as we see Omar Baja taking a very wide line.
Yeah.
Oh, Alessandro is.
We'll see.
We'll see if he takes it to corner this time. That is not the line you want. Oh no. Oh no. Can he do it? Nope.
No. Well, it's tough for him. We'll see if Malloy is able to actually get a time in.
Somebody's going to do it and actually make it this time. Alessandro's safety rating is not going to be faking them. Well, 45 seconds left in this time as Shane Malloy jumps up into third place. 30 seconds left. Antonio Navarro coming down towards the chase. Actually taking the corner. Do you think we're actually going to get somebody to attempt that at the end of the race? Just the jump?
It just depends how your race goes. I mean, if you're having a tough race, that might be, that's one way to, take out your anger on the race car with a jumping form. So we'll never know until the race is over. But
Well,
qualifying is over though.
that qualifying is over, and here is the grid for this round at Bathurst. 20 cars are all lined up and getting ready to go as we have beautiful scenes from the track here. And here is our grid. Fabio DiCarmo takes pole ahead of Robert Tarleton, Sean Malloy, Shane Russell, James J. Pincer, Steve Honan, Rob Crouch, Dominic Gadamar, Paul Ilbring, Edward Samborski, Joshua Stewart, Omar Baja, Daniel Freckleton, Simone Pizzica, James Byrne, Antonio Navarro, I am Keeman, Jamie Byrne, Dave Marion, and Alessandro Dalladone at the end of the grid. Everybody except for Alessandro setting a time. Even though everyone except for Alessandro didn't take the jump.
Yeah, you're not allowed to get an incident and have a time count in qualification. So with the off track and the other incidents, no one voided his time, even if he would have been able to finish the lap. So he'll start in the back of the pack. We'll see if he actually grids for the race. But one thing to look out for, some of our heavy hitters in the middle of the pack with Paul Ilbrink, Eddie Samborski, qualifying 9th and 10th. So we'll see if they're going to be able to make a charge. You got Pizzica down at 14th. But, this is such a tough track. It's anyone's game.
That 7th through 12th area, those are like the big names that we always see. Crouch, Gadamar, Ilbrink, Samborski, Stewart, and Baja. Oh, those guys are really want to get forward. Robert Tarleton starting in second, but Fabio DiCarmo putting in a great time. This is going to be a very, very, very interesting start. Hopefully these guys can keep it clean through the first 3 corners. Because usually that's where all the chaos happens, especially at the cutting. I've had so many incidents there that I hate that corner with a passion. And that's why I don't race here. But the 5 red lights coming on. And let's go racing here at Formula 3.5 Challenge at Bathurst. And Robert Tarleton gets an amazing start, jumps up into the lead.
That's Robert Tarleton we know.
Great start through hell corner. Ilbrink gets a bad corner. He gets a lot of wheel spin. Ilbrink falling down all the way to 11th place. As it's Tarleton, DiCarmo, Mallow, Russell, Piecer, Crouch, Gadamar, Honan. They're going to go side by side heading into Griffin's Bend.
Driver's going to give a little bit of room here. Cars are starting to get real tight. Tarleton and DiCarmo able to put on a really good little gap. Let's take a look at Steve Honan.
Oh.
Ooh. Just nice and tight.
Grid. Keeping it very tight, very orderly. No chaos through here, but Robert Tarleton and Fabio DiCarmo just running away right now.
Yeah, on board with Rob Crouch, right behind Russell. Crouch into 6th position. Go back and take a look at the start here with Robert Tarleton. Just pretty much just gets on the hammer and goes. I don't know if DiCarmo was sleeping or not.
Boy, he's been struggling and practicing with the starts. I know that. It was just a better start. They both got the same time, but Robert Tarleton put in some jet fuel or something to make that thing just zip off the line.
Yeah, Tarleton must have put a little of the PJ1 on him to get a little bit more grip for the start of this race. Put on a little bit of a gap between him and DeCarmo. You see Malloy behind them in third. Putting on a really good effort here. Still only lap number 1 of 21. So still some time to go on this very short track.
It's a short track that feels like a long track. I guess that's just the amount of stress that you go through. And oh no, Keeman's off. Keeman's off. He's rejoined the track. And I am Keeman falls down at the end of the grid. We got another crash right in front of Alessandro Dalladone. That is Jamie Byrne around.
Looks to be Dave Martin coming into that corner. Avoiding IM and then just you hate to see it.
He hits the wall and right there, and it was Dave Martin, not Jamie Byrne. Sorry, any of you Jamie Byrne fans that I just gave a heart attack.
Yeah, Dave, unfortunate for him. Gotta go back to the pits and, well, just his day is over. He's gonna go to the next official session and hopefully probably make a good run. But guy who's making a good run right now is Malloy in third. Oh, ball in a second, back from DeCarmo. Sitting in third. Oh, James Byrne.
We got a crash in the cutting. Multiple cars around coming through Quarry Corner. That's some old Pizzica around.
James Byrne, Pizzica. Byrne going a little bit wide here. Let's see what happens.
This is something that always ends up bad too. Oh, and he's just spun it on his own. And then Simone Pizzica, he lost it on his own. Very tricky corner to get right. And very tricky to keep that safe away from other cars because you're going to be, well, you're pretty much in the narrow part of the track and you're posted up sideways in a very long 3.5 car.
Yeah, the car is very long compared to some other cars on the surface. So when they are sideways on this track, it makes it a little more difficult to get around. We'll take a look at Steve Honan right now. Put on still a run up in the 8th position. Still down 2 starts for the starting position, excuse me. Putting on a good run.
Somebody's put on a great run and kept it safe. Our biggest mover so far in the race is Alessandro Dalladone, who is up 5 spots.
Yeah, Alessandro, remember no time for him as he tried to take the path less traveled in qualifying. Has moved up to the 15th position, putting on a good pace. He's going to try to make some way up the field. We'll take a look back at Edward Samborski from the view that kind of scares the kids. The eyes of the tiger, Edward Samborski.
Yeah, Samborski in 9th, heading into Griffins. He's on the back of Steve Honan. And I think really, at this point, for Samborski, he just wants to survive this round.
Yeah, this is a track that is kind of a battle of survival. And sometimes it's not from a mistake of your own, but from a mistake of somebody else, because heading around this corner, there's somebody sideways, you're going to hit them. So he's got to be kind of lucky. Rob Crouch going through the geological oddity, as Darrell Waltrip would say. Shane Russell putting on a stellar run.
Heading into Forest Elbow. Very tricky corner to get the brakes right in, especially in a supercar. AKA a car that has no brakes.
Yeah, these cars here, from the 3.5 series are...
Ooh, Josh.
Oh, Josh Stewart.
Stewart was looking in on the inside of Ever Samborski. Samborski's taking a defensive line heading into the chase. But Josh getting a little bit of antsy on his teammate.
Yeah, the teammates are really battling very hard. The DFR drivers just sitting there doing such a nice job.
They're doing a great job. They're very well represented. 4 DFR cars that I can see in that shot.
Yeah, we're missing a couple of the positive sim racing drivers this week. I'm sure they'll be back next week.
You mean all the positive sim racing drivers?
We are missing them all. But
And
the ones that we're not missing
is Crouch on Russell.
Yeah, Crouch and Russell really put on a valiant effort so far as we are on lap number 4 of 21. We're on board with Paul Ilbrink. Paul Ilbrink, usually the driver's up at the top of the field, but this was a track that he's pretty much stated he kind of struggles at, and that's going to be a battle for him. But it's great to see the Radicals online driver here at Bathurst with the Formula 3.5 car.
Yeah, the speed to go through these corners is absolutely insane, especially in Formula 3.5. And that's just, when I saw this track on the schedule, I know, oh my goodness, this is going to be very difficult to get right, but very fun to attempt. It's kind of like a, I'm going to use more Star Wars terminology like I always do. It's kind of like pod racing.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. The one thing I can't see is Gademeier putting on a big run on Russell.
Gademeier on, oh wait, Gademeier, he's on medium downforce.
Yeah, as we take a look at the back end of the car, you take a look at the angle of the wing is a little bit down. Gademeier running a little bit lower, which is the medium downforce, or is known as the MDF. And
also, James J. Peace is running the medium downforce scheme as well, giving him a big boost on the straights and well, making them struggle in the corners. But since most of this track is taking single file and nobody's what's the word, crazy enough to attempt one through the corner, this is actually kind of a good gamble for them.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble the drivers are doing. We've seen that in Indianapolis last season that some of the drivers ran the medium downforce, but it's good to see a couple drivers trying to do something different and trying to get that edge.
We're going to see on how these high downforce versus medium downforce guys handle it throughout these corners as we ride on board Paul Ilbert trying to chase down Joshua Stewart. And Sean Mallory is around and he's out. And this is through the geographical oddity. And oh, we got a parking lot here in Bathurst. Jamie Stewart's around. Steve Honen's around. Paul Ilbert is stuck. Steve Honen's just...
Oh, wow, there's here comes another one. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, this is, you hate to see it. Oh wow. That's what happens when you go to a track like this, Austin, when it's just, when a car is sideways, it's such a long car like the Formula 3.5, and
who was not involved in that? Who was not involved besides Tarleton and Pincer? Dalton and Carmo. Here's Joshua Stewart at the front. It was Sean Malloy, and he just lost it hard into. Oh, this is not the spot where you want to be. There's a little tap from Pinkster right there. As here's Paul Ilbring as we arrive on board. Who's that flipping through the air?
Here comes Alessandro.
This is Jamie Byrne, and we go back onto Alessandro Dalladone. No idea. Some tire marks, and then the luck is just not there. I know yesterday was Friday the 13th, but I don't know if Friday the 14th is the thing in Italy, but that is just incredibly unlucky for Alessandro. Edward Samborski arrived to the scene. The car that jumped up just hit a bump. Well, if you ever want to see what a rush hour traffic in Texas it looks like, there you go. This is Steve Homan. As we try to find that car that pitchfork. Oh, it was Shane Russell. Oh, Russell caught the despawning car of Sean Malloy.
Yeah, Shane just went for a ride. These cars are like a miniature airplane on wheels, and he was able to set sail, though. Very unfortunate for him, but.
Okay, so of the cars that were not in it or not affected by it, only 5. Tarleton and Carmo. And then there were 2 cars that were not affected by it. Those are the 2 leaders. The cars that were slightly affected by it, Crouch, Gademeier, Ilbrink, and, well, yeah, just those 3. Pincer, Crouch, and Gademeier. And then the cars that were just stuck there, Ilbrink, Navarro, Frumperton, Byrne, Keeman, and Dalladone. And Omar Baja. even though Baja already had some incident.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was trying to get to earlier today, Austin. You can be running nice and smooth, but then a car in front of you will make a mistake and go around and make it a parking lot to where your luck kind of runs out. So this is one of those tracks. It's not really what you do. It's sometimes what somebody else does, and it wasn't an incident to anybody else. Just that's how this track is, and unfortunately, this is what we have today.
Nah, this is basically what happens here at Bathurst. Well, one usual incident just causes a kerfuffle of events, and it just happened to happen in the S is right in front of the geographical oddity, aka the timber.
What was that word you said? Kerfuffle? Like I've never heard that before.
Hey, I've been looking up in the dictionary.
That would be more the thesaurus, but
you know what? Words are coming about from descriptions.
yeah, a good description of this race right now is James J. Pinkster just gonna using the power moves to stay in third, and they're all beautiful cars, but I really like JJ Power's car. Three-way battle here for third. Austin, question for you, sir.
What is it?
Would you have made it through lap number 1 here?
No, I wouldn't even make it through qualifying.
Man, I'm just so stoked that we got a three-way battle for third and a two-way battle for sixth. Or seventh, excuse me. Freckleton and Navarro put on a whale of an effort here.
And I was starting a lot of damage on him. That's the engine cover of his car, but I believe that was already on his car. So we go back to our fight for third. Pacer, Crouch, Gadameyer. Gadameyer just sitting at the back. Crouch already looking down for the inside of James A. Pacer. This is the fight for the last spot on the podium. And I must say, of all the drivers that are still on the same lap as, daring move down the inside. Rob Crouch, as well as Gadameyer, sends it in on James A. Pacer. And new drivers in third and fourth, Dominic Gadameyer and Rob Crouch.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a good little opportunity for some of these drivers that, usually, are sitting around this normal position, maybe 7th or 8th, but with the heavy hitters out, they get some good champ points here.
Good champ points and good iRacing points. Must say looks like the top 13 are all going to be scoring some positive iRacing, except for Paul Ilbrey, who is losing 4. This data is very good and very useful, and it's useful for you as Crouch and Gadameyer going side by side, heading through the chase. Crouch stays ahead of Gadameyer, and the order stays the same, but that was a very dangerous, very daring move on the two medium downforce drivers behind the high downforce drivers of Rob Crouch.
Yeah, for maybe some people that aren't watching so far, or watching today, or first time watching, what do you mean by the medium downforce and high downforce? I mean, some people that were gibberish.
The height of the rear wing. It can either just be an entire air jam using the maximum downforce at the rear end of the car, or it's a little bit down, and it doesn't provide as much downforce and allows the car to go faster in a straight line. You can tell the difference is of the height of the rear wing. If you can see some of the flaps on the side, it's medium downforce. If you just see a giant rectangle, it's high downforce. And that's 4.2K SOF field. I say we got a pretty nice race here for third, but Rob Crouch definitely has the advantage through the mountain part of it, but Gadameyer and Pacer definitely have the advantage on the straights.
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking this SOF would have been a little bit lower, but a 4.2K SOF is still, very high. You're still going to be able to get the good champ points that you want.
It's definitely in the running for. It's in the ballpark what we usually have on today.
And speaking of today, and this series, Same time next week, same place. Just without me, unfortunately.
So why aren't you going to be here?
I have other commitments, aka work.
Work has
Wow,
got him. Unleashes a speed and sends it around the outside in the braking zone. Gadamar up into third.
Well, next weekend I'll be at the Grand Canyon, so that's my excuse. But I love this. I love this race we got going on so far, even though we have all but 7 drivers out. But the battle is fierce.
Battle is indeed fierce, and we'll see what Paul Ilbrink can do. Try to catch up to these 3. JJ Pinkster is just at the back of this grid of this group in that medium downforce, trying to catch up to Rob Crouch. But let's go back because Paul Ilbrink had a little bit of an incident right here. Always hit the curb.
You don't want to do that.
Thankfully, you avoided the ice rink that is also known as grass. But Donovan Gadamar staying ahead of Crouch through the place where Crouch absolutely loves. His car loves this section. He has the downforce and the grip to take him through this section, but he's behind Gadamar, and making a move up here is very dangerous, and he doesn't want to force a wreck.
It is very dangerous, Austin, but I would love to see a move going into one of these turns to just to see a really aggressive move. Yeah, sometimes you just got to let it rip, and the one driver who's letting it rip right now, that's Robert Charlton. You see, he is your leader. He's pulling away by 2.5 seconds over DeCarmo, putting on a stellar effort.
Fabio DeCarmo's last lap was the fastest lap of the race, as James J. Pinkster trying to repeat what Gadamar did. Unfortunately, not going to work for James, as he stays behind Rob Crouch, as Gadamar pulling away, as Robert Talton puts in the fastest lap of the race. A solid 0.8 gained on Fabio that lap.
Yeah, drivers are they're battling out for the fastest lap of the session, as we are pretty much in the middle of the halfway point. Because it is with an odd number of laps, there's no actual halfway point. So 11 laps, well, on lap number 11 of 21, and Charlton's pretty much been just dominating this race so far. Charlton, lately has been put on speed. He got his first big broadcast win a couple weeks ago. Trying to get another one here.
Yeah, Robert Tarleton definitely in control of this race. 3 seconds ahead of Fabio. Fabio is slowing up a lot. I think Fabio is trying not to catch up to Robert. Might have had a little bit of heart and mouth moment. Just might be thinking, I just need to finish this race. As Rob Crouch is trying to chase down Dominic Gadamar, but Gadamar is just so fast in the straights that Crouch is in that odd spot where I don't think he's going to have enough speed on top of the track to catch up to Gadamar.
And Gadamar with the medium downforce just gets so much more speed on these straights, just utilizing the setup that he has chosen for today's race to maintain more speed on these long straightaways. So that's what Gadamar has done so far, and Crouch may do that the next time if we.
He just gained an entire second on that straight.
Yeah,
that's how powerful that car is.
Yeah, slow car Alessandro got out of the way. Take a look at JJ Power, also known as James J. Pinkster.
Man, sitting in 5th. He was on the bumper of Rob Crouch right there. But he's fallen away from this grouping just a little bit. He's also running that medium downforce, but he's been struggling on top of the mountain. And I'm gonna have to say that has to do with some of the dirty air being provided by some of these cars.
Yeah, this take a look at DeCarmo here, just doing a really good job at working his way using up the track limits. Take a look at DeCarmo and Gadamar's time. He was very quick most of this race.
kind of fallen back into his groove. 9/10 gained from Dominic Gademeyer last lap as, yeah, Fabio's pace is just falling off right now. He might have picked up some side pod damage. As the floor damage on these cars does affect the performance, provides a lot of the downforce, and well, it looks like the left side of the car is a bit tweaked up, just a bit. So he might have hit one of those curves in the wrong way.
Yeah, you don't want to hit him in the right way either, though.
You just don't want to hit any curb.
No, definitely not. Tarleton put down the quickest time of the session so far. Oh, about 8/10 quicker than DeCarmo there the last time around. So yeah, DeCarmo probably might have a little bit of side pod damage.
Gademeyer, 6/10 faster that lap. You just see them closing in on Fabio.
Yeah, if they can close them in with this, not very many laps to go, that'd be pretty impressive. Just got to wait and see.
Yeah, Dominic Gademeyer, I think he's found his rhythm right here. The number 5 car definitely getting a big gain of iRacing right here. Rob Crouch trying to chase down Gademeyer through the mountain, using all the downforce and grip he has to his use to chase down Gademeyer. But Gademeyer on the straights is just a completely different weapon.
Yeah, definitely Gademeyer is a weapon of mass speed with that medium downforce.
Yeah, he is struggling from turns 3 to 19, but he's gaining an entire second on the straight. He lost 2/10 right there to Fabio, but watch how much speed he gains in Sector 5 alone.
Yeah, the track split up into sectors, and here's a Sector 5 time for DeCarmo. It's still a very valiant effort. We'll take a look at what Gademeyer can
7
get. Oh
tenths.
my gosh. Wow. Yeah. That's all I can say is wow, Austin. So the time that he's lost, it's pretty much gained and then some in Sector 5.
Yeah, Sector 3 and Sector 5 are the big high-speed parts of the track. That's over at Skyline, where Sector 3 is. Gademeyer, 7/10 gained that lap. He is closing in on Fabio.
Yeah, if according to my calculations, there's a chance.
There definitely is a chance. It looks like Dominic might just be 3 seconds behind Fabio DeCarmo right now. We might have a last lap fight. Well, we might be closing in on a fight for second place very soon. Let's ride on board Dominic Gademeyer as he flies up through the mountain and tries to chase down second place Fabio DeCarmo.
Yeah, Gademeyer's been putting on some really good laps so far. Obviously by far quicker than DeCarmo at the moment, but he might be quick now, but we still have, some laps to go, and he's got to be very consistent, Austin. Very consistent if he wants to get up to second place.
He indeed needs to be. Gademeyer put it on the throttle. He can see Fabio ahead of him, just going down the Conrad straight.
Yeah, only 11 cars on the track right now, Austin, so this is by far the least drivers we've had. Yeah, the least drivers we've had at this point of any of our races so far this season.
Well, that's what happens when you race at Bathurst. Just stuff like that happens. A giant bottom to
wow.
Whoa, my Gademeyer. Half a second gained, but new fast lap of the race. Dominic Gademeyer. I think we're seeing a new meta come up in these Formula 3.5 cars.
Yeah, Gademeyer putting on really good times. DeCarmo DeCarmo knows Gademeyer's coming, and he's just got to put the head down and not worry about what's behind him and worry about what's in front of him.
Yeah, our timing screen is showing 10 seconds gap to him, but our timing software is showing about 4.5 seconds. Gadamar's behind of Fabio.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's saying, Austin. The overall gap from the leader, bud.
Oh.
Sometimes calling races is hard, and you know, you hate. It's okay, Austin. We're not going to judge you for it, but yep, on the timing screen it's the overall gap from the leader, not the interval gap. So, yep, 4 seconds. Oh, about 4-second gap. And there's the interval gap.
You know, I was thinking that too as I was saying.
It's okay. But the gap is, yeah, about 4 seconds between second and third, and it's been closing. But what else is closing is this race. We're on lap 15 of 21, so not very many laps to go here at Bathurst. Tarleton pretty much out in front by 6 seconds, showing the way. And DeCarmo and Gadameyer final spots in the podium. And DeCarmo put down a good time here.
Did who?
Oh, half a second quicker there, eh?
Gadameyer. Yeah, he's closing in on DeCarmo, but he's going to be dealing with that dirty air now and trying to find spots to get closer to Fabio with dealing with that dirty air. As we ride on board James A. Pacer, he's caught up to Rob Crouch. He's showing him that he's on the inside heading for Griffin's Bend, but I think that's just a courtesy thing.
Yeah, courtesy is you know, something you always see in the series. A lot of courtesy.
Especially with half the field out of this race or involved in the incident, you definitely want to make sure that the rest of the cars stay consistent with you. Oh no! Oh, Gadamer! He's lost the back of his engine. He's lost his wing. Gadamer has had an incident, and Gadamer is, well, he's definitely has to go into the pit lane. What has happened? Heading up into Skyline to Donovan Gadamer, trying to chase down Fabio DeCarmo. He spins it in the cutting and unfortunately slides into the wall, loses his wing, and that is going to be giantly impacting on Donovan Gadamer. Here is the replay. Hits the bump and upsets the car and just slides into the wall and takes out the entire back end of that car. That's
the fans are running. The fans are running to get his car. To get the piece of his car. Now he's got no downforce. He'll be really quick in the straights.
He's gonna have to bring that car into pit lane. But as that happens, James A. Piecer makes the move on Rob Crouch. Let's run on board with James A. Piecer as they're passing Donovan Gadamer. You see the strict car of him. He goes down to the inside. James know that this is his time. Puts the pedal to the metal. Heading into the dipper. As Rob Crouch navigates his way through there. He knows he's back up into third. And he just has the speedy boy of James A. Piecer behind him. And James has that lower downforce. And oh my goodness, I think we're about to see a DRS plus medium downforce move right here. Watch how far back James is. And watch how close he closes in on Rob Crouch. Just like he presses a button, the next thing you know, hits the turbo. And it goes from 2/10 back to hello, boys. I'm back. And up into third.
And that's not even using DRS. That's
just
with that medium downforce. I know, I'm saying, that's just saying the big difference between the medium downforce and the high downforce. Like I kind of alluded to earlier, you gotta be perfect. You gotta limit your mistakes.
Gadamer is staying out.
That's what I like to see. Stay out, do the best you can, and you know, I like that. I like to see that effort Gadamer's putting on there. You got a car that's, you know, pretty damaged, pretty junk, but he's just maintaining a let it drive.
It's a very risky strategy because you definitely do not have as much downforce as possible. This would be great news if you were Paul Ilbert, because you could catch up and try to gain iRating off that. As Robert Tarleton retakes the fast lap of the race of 148.53, as the battle for third continues on between James J. Pinks here and Rob Crouch.
I like the idea of staying out in Gadameyer's situation. What else does he have to lose? You come down pit road, you're gonna lose a bunch of positions. Might as well stay out as long as you can. I like that. I like the aggressiveness, but aggressiveness. Words are tough. I mean, you had a hard time with the interval gap, and I'm having a hard time saying words. We're both having a hard time with that.
Well, these drivers are definitely having a hard time as well. So we're seeing drivers lose control on this track, either on themselves or with some company. And this track is definitely an oddity in the Formula 3.5 series, but that's what happens when you let the community decide. Sometimes they want to get a little bit crazy.
It's been a little crazy. We've seen some drivers go airborne, and we've seen battles like we have here for the final spot on the podium between JJ Power and Rob Crouch. Crouch all over Power.
Crouch just dancing on the gearbox of Pacer. But the thing is, he needs to be more aggressive in that places where he has the advantage, because just on the straights, James can just get him like that and just fly away from him. So Rob Crouch is needing to stay in the draft and try to make a move heading into Griffin's Bend and catch James off guard.
Yeah, he's sailing away right now, setting sail. Thanks for using that medium downforce, like you know how you perfectly explained earlier the differences, and I think that really put a good meaning to that. As what's putting a good meaning to a great time? Robert Tarleton showing the way with the second quick time in a row. Yeah, definitely. Gadameyer putting on a really good run with no real wing.
Ilbrink and Gadameyer. Well, Gadameyer, he's still driving and is only putting in times that are just slightly fast. What? 7/10 slower than Paul Ilbrink, and he's still out there.
I like his drive. Get that man a contract. I mean, just had the worst of the worst happen. Pretty much, car gets destroyed, no rear wing, and just put on a really good effort. I like to see that. I like to see that drive that he's putting on, and still in the top 5 with the car without a rear wing. He's doing a fantastic job. Who else is doing a fantastic job? James J. Pinkster and Rob Crouch.
You know, Gadameyer, if he finishes this, if he continues his pace, he's in line to still finish 5th. Because the race ends in 3 laps. That is nuts.
It is very.
And Crouch, a little bit of a mistake from James J. Pace here, heading into Force Elbow. Bit of a lockup heading into there. It's going to allow Crouch to gain up some ground, stay in that draft. But James going to still pull away just slightly from Rob Crouch. DRS would help Crouch right here, but it's just not going to help him enough.
It would help Crouch, but if JJ Powers got it, oh man, Tarleton put down another quick time, showing the way. Robert Tarleton putting on just a whale of an effort. I mean, quick time after quick time after quick time.
Yeah, Robert Tarleton pulling a Tim DeLau right here, just getting faster and faster and faster and faster. Usually be battling Tim DeLau, and that makes you think what happened if Tim DeLau was here, as Donovan Gadameyer driving that turbo boosted Formula Ford, as you see Paul Ilberg just coming over the horizon outside of Murray's corner. Can Paul Ilberg catch up to Donovan Gadameyer within 2 laps?
You know, it could happen. You know, Gadameyer's a little bit slower, obviously, than Ilberg because of the damage. If there was a post-race inspection, we know he wouldn't pass, but there is no post-race inspection, so he's fine.
Indeed. But he's definitely failing a weight inspection as Crouch is dancing on the gearbox, looks up to the outside in Solomon Park, heading into McFinley, and into Skyline they go. Rob Crouch getting a little bit more aggressive here on James A. Piecer. He knows he has 2 laps to go, here to close down on that move and get onto the podium. But James J. Peace here just making that Formula 3.5 as wide as the BMW M8 right now.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do right now. Great exit by Rob Crouch, but that only means so much when Pinkster's got the medium downforce, and will just most likely end up pulling away.
Yeah, Pincer just unbeatable on the straights to Rob Crouch, but I think Rob Crouch is giving that in his mind, and I think he's made up his mind on where he's going to try to make the move on JJ Power as Robert Tarleton brings out the white flag here in Bathurst. 1 lap to go.
Yeah, 1 lap to go at this very, very tough track, tough to tame. 11 drivers still on the field, 10 on the lead lap. Oh. No, I know this is Mount Panorama. I love this track. It's one of those tracks that I would just would love to go have a chance
James,
on.
look down to the inside. Crouch holding around that outside line. Defensive line around Griffin's Bend for James J. Pacer. James up into 3rd place.
Crouch gonna have to make a move here, otherwise he's gonna have no chance. He's got to make a super.
That was his only spot.
He's got another shot. He can make a move. Send it. Come on,
his
Rob.
only spot, I must add.
He can make a move here. Come on, Crouch. Let's get some excitement.
Crouch, now or never, heading into the S's. Is he going to send one heading into the Dipper? Not going to happen. As we go to Dominic Gadamar and Paul Ilbrink. Ilbrink trying to go for that top 5. Gadamar trying to do the impossible, finish the race in the top 5 without a rear wing and a rear engine covering. Defending from Paul Ilbrink as it's Robert Tarleton. Not challenged at all. Dominating from start to finish. Did not set the pole though, so it's not a grand slam. Robert Tarleton takes the win. Heading into the battle for 3rd. Crouch onto the inside. Heading into the chase. Defended by James J. Pacer. James going to take 3rd. Duke Carmel takes 2nd.
And Tarleton put down another quick time.
Gadamar and Ilbrink, they're still racing it out right there. Ilbrink round the outside through the chase. Gadamar using that no downforce advantage of the acceleration of the straight to stay ahead of Ilbrink. Ilbrink has 1 more corner to go heading into Murray's. He sends it around the outside, but it's just too little too late. Ilbrink, big spin. Gadamar finishes in 5th without a wing.
Yeah, the fans are going to come home lucky with not only just the battle they saw on the racetrack, but with the virtual wing.
My goodness, Donovan Gadamar pulling out the impossible top 5. Sure, he had permanent DRS through the corners. He had DRS the entire time. The dude had no rear downforce. My goodness, what did we just witness?
We witnessed the race.
Zovar Baja comes home in 10th place. As, wow, what a race we witnessed here. That is impressive by Gadamar.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
As the race comes to an end here, Paul Ilbrink continuing on a victory lap, and I think, well, Paul Ilbrink is continuing on a lap, and as we wait for the results, and Paul Ilbrink, I think Ilbrink's going to give us a little bit of a show right here. We saw Alessandro attempt it, not once, but twice. Are we going to see Paul Ilbrink attempt it? Come on, Paul. Come on, Paul. Come on, Paul. Ah. Well, only Alessandro got the $10 bounty that I gave to him, so congrats to Alessandro. Robert Tarleton takes the win, followed by Fabio DiCarlo. James J. Peaster in 3rd. Rob Crouch, Dominic Gadamar, Paul Ilbrink, Dylan Freckleton, Antonio Navarro, Jamie Byrne, Omar Baja, Josh Stewart, Alessandro Daldone. I am Kevin, Sean Malloy, Shane Russell, Steve Honan, Everett Samborski, Jamie Byrne, Simone Pisca, and Dave Martin. 10 drivers made it through to the end, and 10 drivers, well, the odds weren't in their favor.
Yeah, the odds were not in their favor, but whose odds was in their favor was Robert Tarleton, and yeah, he's here.
Robert, how was that race here today? Robert Tarleton, this is Austin in the booth. How was that race?
Oh, hey guys, can you hear me?
We got you, bud.
I was muted. Yeah, that was as good as I could have hoped for. It's really nice to get one where I didn't make a mistake.
Well, you had a amazing start, which has been your Achilles heel, but when it's not, you've been, well, you've been like a rocket.
Yep, and I mean, Fabio was really putting pressure on me the beginning of the race, and I wasn't sure if he was using DRS or what, but I think it was like the first 8 or 9 laps he was just maintaining like a 2-second gap, and it was definitely not what I wanted on this really tight, treacherous track. I wanted to just be able to, pull a gap and kind of get into a groove, but he was really just keeping the pressure on.
Well, it was absolutely a great race by you. You were putting in some fantastic laps, and well, you got another win here at probably the oddest of tracks.
Yeah, it's definitely been a weird week. I think it would have been nice to get the rest of the field, but I mean, with this track, there's definitely like 100 different ways to crash. So I could also see this track's not so appealing to race.
Well, congrats on the win, Robert. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
I'd say definitely you guys for the broadcast, and then Fabio for the great racing. That was really made it interesting.
All right. Well, congrats, Robert. We're going to let you have a great afternoon as we have Fabio DuCarmo in
Great. Thanks,
the
guys.
booth right now. Fabio, how was that race, man? Fabio, this is Austin in the booth. Do you read?
Loud and clear, Austin. How are you doing?
Doing great. How was that race, man?
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, actually. This is my favorite track in the whole service. It's so challenging. It's so difficult. You have to keep focused all the time, especially in the mountain. I actually tried to keep with Robert in the beginning of the race. I used almost all my DRSs in the beginning. Try not to break the draft from him. I just left 2 DRSs to use towards the end, but I wasn't able to follow the guy. The guy was just freaking quick, and he pulled away. So I just settled in second position. I saw Dominic closing in. I knew he was running the medium downforce setup as he was approaching like crazy into the straights. The gap was closing so fast on the straight, so I was just hoping I could delay his arrival, and it was a relief when he made a mistake. I don't know what happened, but he dropped back a few positions.
Medium downforce hap. Actually, he hit a bump heading into Griffin's. Yeah. He hit a bump heading into turn 3, and yeah, so it wasn't anything to do with medium downforce in that risk, but the speed on the straights was gaining about 0.7 to a second sometimes coming out of force elbow.
Yeah, it was insane, man. I was just, man, if this guy get close to me and he overtakes, there's no way I'll get back the position unless he made some mistake or something. Because in the mountain, it's just, there's no place for overtaking. It's just so narrow, and it would be really difficult. I'm just glad he dropped back a few positions and I was able to finish in second. But yeah, it was super fun. Bathurst, it's just one of the most beautiful tracks in the world, in my opinion, and it's just so much fun. This combination with this car and this track, it was super fun, and I'm really happy to finish podium.
Well, glad you're really happy. Congrats on second place. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, my wife for letting me race up here and taking care of my kids, of our kids, by the way. Thanks for my kids as well for behaving. Just tell them that I love them very, very much. And of course, you guys for the broadcast. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fabio. And we got Avery McDonald with James J. Pinkster.
Yeah, here with JJ Power, also known as James J. Pinkster. James, how were you able to put on just maintain that podium position with Rob behind you?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you tell me. You watched it. You watch in the mountain section for like 5-6 laps in a row with the high downforce. Obviously, I'm running medium downforce, and to anyone watching, the gap between medium downforce and high downforce settings in this car is like really, really big. Not entirely sure why, but yeah, there's just a massive gap in terms of the amount of downforce they create. And at this track, it was very marginal as to what to go for. So I went for medium downforce, but it seems most people went for high downforce otherwise, except Dominic. And yeah, every single lap, because of that, he'd keep with me in the slipstream, and then on the mountain, like, yeah, 1/10, 2/10, just looking on my mirror, and then I see a car right there. And in a bit of section that's already really scary to drive in this car, that was so intense. But then luckily on the straight, you've got enough straight line speed with this to kind of keep him behind. But yeah, I just had to keep it clean, not mess up any braking points. Just about got it in the end, I guess.
Yeah, you put on a really good effort. Such a tough track, but you know, next week we go to a little bit easier track. We go to the Glen Classic Boot. What do you think of that one?
Ooh, Watkins Glen. It's a very different track to this one. I mean, yeah, it's completely different with the way that definitely going to be seeing everyone on high downforce there, I think. And the walls aren't going to be anywhere near as scary, which I kind of look forward to. But then again, that's the challenge. There's a lot of drivers who didn't want to drive this week at Bathurst because it's just very dangerous, very scary. They're all pussies, frankly. Should man up and drive the car here. But yeah, I look forward to seeing a lot of those guys back for the Watkins week. And also a little thing for me as well is that I'm going to be on a... I'm not actually sure if I'll be able to drive because I've got to send my current wheel back because it's got a small fault. So I'm going to be driving on a Logitech again. Logitech G920. I'm currently on a Fanatec CSW, so that's going to be quite interesting trying to adjust to completely different force feedback for the next week. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, I have to watch the broadcast next week as this is my last week in the booth due to some prior commitments. But James, it's been an honor watching you. I know it's a question you don't like, but anybody you'd like to thank?
I don't know. I'd like to thank... Oh, what happened in the race? I'd like to thank Sean for when he spun in front of me and gifted me a place. That was quite kind of him. I'd like to thank Dominic for when he spun in front of me and gifted me a place. That was quite kind of him. And I'd like to thank Rob for being quite measured. We had a very good battle, and he was, despite being quite frustrated with the high downforce thing, how you can't overtake on the straight, he kept clean, kept logical with how he was going to go for it, and in the end we both got home safely. And when you're looking in the mirror going up the mountain at Bathurst and you're seeing a car like literally sit there at 1/10 all the way, maybe you don't think that you're going to finish the race sometimes. So yeah, he was clean, Rob Crouch, and I'm happy with that, and I'm happy with the race. Thanks for commentating this season, and I hope to see you again next season.
Yeah, we'll see if how my schedule looks, but yeah, it's been fun watching. A great job, and good luck to you the rest of the season. And go take down Tim next week.
Easy.
You heard the man himself, JJ Power, coming home in third. Austin, what a fun race.
It certainly was a fun race and a fun experience here today. Next week, we're going to go to Watkins Glen Classic Boot, aka Watkins Glen, without the bus stop chicane. So it's going to be an absolute draft fest here next week. A completely different race to what we experienced here today. I want to thank you, everyone who joined us here in chat for this round of the iRacing Formula 3.5 Challenge. I've been joined by Avery McDonald and Marco Barbanera.
in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.